Following on from a pretty hectic playing schedule at MSI, every team that participated plus Hanwha Life from the LCK and Cloud9 from the LTA have just landed in Riyadh to begin preparation for round 1 of the Esports World Cup, which begins in roughly 24 hours, and shortly after that, domestic competition resumes. But despite the star-studded roster of teams partaking in the EWC, the competition is riddled with controversy, and it's my job today to explain exactly why and how it affects your favorite teams, content creators, and players. If you enjoy this type of news content, consider dropping a sub as we get into the first section of this video, Esports Washing. Esports Washing is a term that is coined from the more traditional term sports washing, which is basically where an organization, country, political body, or cause uses the wholesome and pure image of sports to distract from controversial or unethical behavior. This aims to improve the image of the one committing sports washing to the public eye. One such real-world example of this was the 1936 Olympic Games hosted in Berlin, where Germany, amidst the Nazi regime, hosted the Summer Olympics in a bid to hide persecution of Jews and other minorities, suppress free speech and opposition stances, and distract from the construction of concentration camps that were already well underway. The Games were used as a propaganda tool to project Germany as a strong, peaceful, and civilized nation to the rest of the world. And we all know how this facade ended. Esports washing, in this context, is utilizing esports, and again, its wholesome and unified image to improve the perception of Saudi Arabia, despite their poor track record of human rights abuse and regressive stances. Indirectly as well, it can generate positive perception from younger, more impressionable and ignorant youth that typically don't pay attention to political situations. Two such regressive stances of Saudi Arabia include gender inequality and criminalization of those under an LGBTQ+ identity, among others like suppression of free speech. Just to give you an idea of how serious these human rights infringements are, here are just a couple of specific instances of breaches. In 2018, Lujain Al-Hathlul, a women's rights activist, was arrested after campaigning for women's right to drive. That's right, drive cars. Saudi Arabia was the only country in the world that prohibited women from driving, and if they were caught, could be arrested, fined, and lose their job. She also protested against male guardianship, where in Saudi Arabia, every woman must have a male guardian who had authority over many aspects of their life. If their male guardian said they didn't want them to travel, marry a certain person, enroll in a certain school, or work a particular job, the guardian's decision was the one adhered to, not the woman's. In the instance of her arrest, she was kidnapped from the UAE and forcibly returned to Saudi Arabia, where she was detained in solitary confinement without trial for months, where she was tortured, waterboarded, beat, electrically shocked, and sexually harassed. When she eventually went to trial in 2020, being imprisoned the whole time, she was found guilty and sentenced to 5 years and 8 months in prison by a special counter-terrorism court. In 2021, she was finally released after over 1,000 days behind bars, but under the condition of probation and a 5-year travel ban that still maintains to this day. Another such example was in 2020, where social media influencer Muhammad Al-Bukhari was arrested shortly after tweeting a video in support of human rights, specifically the gay community. In the video, Al-Bukhari said, quote, "Everybody has rights and should be respected, gay people included." After his arrest, shortly following his posting of the video, he was sentenced to 10 months in prison and 200 public lashes, like by a whip. He was also refused legal access and was abused in detention. In 2020, this is like some medieval shit. And the guy didn't even say he himself was gay. He just said everyone has rights and they should be respected. And these two things, while despicable, are very mild compared to other things that I can't really talk about lest this video be age restricted, like countless unexplained and uninvestigated immigrant killings. But it doesn't mean they're any less important or relevant. If you want to read about one specific instance from 2022 to 2023, I've posted a picture here of an article I saw in Sideshow's video, and it will be in the description. But discretion is advised. It's not nice to read at all. All of these things are in the last 5 years, so you can only imagine the other controversies the country has been involved in prior. And the utilization of events like the EWC aims at altering public perception and distracting from violations like the ones I just spoke of. That's esports washing, and only one section of the controversies we're here to discuss. The second is budget. Last year, the first EWC announced the largest prize pool in esports history, over $62 million US, which was provided by the PIF, a state-owned fund which has access to over $700 billion in Saudi Arabia. Money that was generated through Saudi Arabia being a leader in oil, one of the main drivers of global warming, pollution, ecosystem damage, and deforestation. And this year, the prize pool only expanded, going up to $70 million with $2 million to League of Legends alone. At Worlds 2024, winners T1 received just $445,000, so you can see why this kind of money is enticing to organizations. But the insane amount of money involved immediately makes this event look like a money-first event. And what I mean by that is the event itself being hosted for profit and image, and not in the spirit of esports itself. In addition to high allocation for the EWC prize pool, they've invested heavily in advertising the event through other relevant avenues, like the MSI that we just saw. In 2021 to 2024, MSI's prize pool was $250,000, down heavily following COVID-19. But in 2025, it went up to $2 million, conveniently at the same time as the EWC becoming an MSI sponsor. So image alteration and corruption, dirty money, human rights violations, what more is there? That's right, inclusivity. As I mentioned before, Saudi Arabia criminalizes homosexuality and gender nonconformity. It's illegal and can even in extreme cases lead to imprisonment, corporal punishment, or death. That's right, death. So imagine the safety concerns for players, talent, and fans who don't really have to worry about their preferences or identity basically anywhere else outside of the Middle East. And just as a bit of a segue, ask, did we all forget about the Neom situation? In case you forgot, in 2020, Riot was trashed on for announcing a partnership with Neom, another huge Saudi project. But this partnership dissolved just as quickly as it started due to backlash from fans and the community, all for the same reasons I've just discussed. So how is EWC any different? Alongside the EWC controversy though is of course controversy surrounding players, talent, and organizations that are partaking in the event. While obviously a lot of people are opposed to their favorite orgs partaking, they're faceless organizations, and it's not really a secret that orgs are in the business to make money, especially when there hasn't really been an org that has turned down the insane amount of money they'd be getting offered. They kinda need it to survive, as evidenced by Riot recently introducing the allowance of teams to accept gambling sponsorships. Dirty and ethically grey money doesn't matter to a faceless org, it's still just money for operating. It's also harder to criticize teams when every team invited just goes, there's no leverage to use. But the same can't be said for individual personalities, where concern for money and monetary opportunities can be seen as greed, especially at the expense of morals. One seeing the full brunt of this is Caedrel, who upon concluding his final MSI stream said he'll be back for EWC.
Thank you all for being here for MSI. It's been legendary. The interviews have been crazy. The chat's been crazy. The game's been crazy. We'll be back for EWC. It's non-stop. After that, it's LCK and LEC starts again, and then LPL starts again, and then Summer starts again, and Lost Raton starts again.
And in response to that, a lot of people are pissed, obviously for the aforementioned reasons. Vicky says, I love Caedrel, watch almost every stream I can, and stayed up watching MSI from Europe even when I had work the next morning. But I won't be watching when he co-streams EWC. It's a shame he is doing it, and I can't lie, it hurts a little. I'm sure he knows a lot of his community feels the same way. Saudi is using EWC and other major events to sports wash its image, deflecting from repression, executions, the killing of activist journalists, and laws that criminalize LGBTQ+ individuals. There is a huge community here that I can safely say won't watch. Caedrel himself has yet to comment on his involvement or respond to anything the community has said, and I don't know if he will. To give him the benefit of the doubt though, I do think it runs deeper than what the community believes though, and I don't think this decision to go to EWC is solely made by Caedrel alone. At this point, his stream is more successful than the actual Riot streams, so it wouldn't surprise me if he was contractually obligated to partake in EWC by Riot Games or otherwise. But this is just speculation though. But even if he's not, he's joked multiple times about putting money he earns towards the Los Ratones LEC slot. So even if he is just doing it for the bag, at least it's going towards something that has the utmost integrity as far as LoL esports is concerned. Either way, I want everyone to just take a step back until Caedrel himself addresses it, if he does at all. The comparison between the flack that Caedrel is receiving versus what orgs have been receiving was well explained by Shadowband on Reddit. Quote, esport orgs are beholden to their investors/employees to make smart financial decisions regardless of morality. Caedrel is independently wealthy now and has the autonomy to make whatever decisions he wants and still maintain generational wealth. Not saying I care that he's covering EWC, but it's not super comparable. There is zero risk that his editors will lose their jobs over him not covering EWC. Now I need to put a little stopper in here. Since this video has begun being edited, sorry to my editor Tar, Caedrel has come out and responded to basically every question I've just gone over on stream, so we'll put it in here. I do think it's contextually relevant to keep the criticism he received prior, but also important I do include his addressal here as well before I release this video. This was in the first half of an hour of his stream that he just started an hour ago. Firstly, he addresses why things weren't addressed straight away, to which he basically says he got off the plane, napped for a few hours, then woke and his partner was suffering bad nosebleeds, so they had to go to the hospital.
Why did I not address things straight away? Well, yesterday I landed at around 2-3 p.m. I was on the same flight as T1 actually. They were traveling to Riyadh. I was on the plane, I came back, napped for like a couple hours. Then we went to the emergency with my girlfriend. She had some really bad nosebleeds. Things are okay now. She's much better today. And then I tried to sleep last night. Very bad sleep. Last 48 hours have been fucking horrible. It's just been like travel, ER, visit. Yeah, really lack of sleep. So my brain is a little bit lagging.
Secondly, he speaks on people saying he dropped the news at the end of his MSI stream and kind of just left it at that, which wasn't the case.
So people are saying that I dropped the EWC news at the end of the MSI stream. And then I came back to England on a flight and just left it to the mods. If you actually watch the MSI streams, I said that I was doing it 2 days before even saying it. You can even check the Caedrel clip channel. We went to the EWC groups and I mentioned it multiple days before. It's not like I dropped it. I've been talking about it like for months and months and months, and I basically said that I was doing it. I don't know why people were like, you just dropped this news out of nowhere. It's actually not true. I think maybe people just clipped it on that day and then everyone was like, it's happening. Hey, check this out.
Then he addresses why he didn't cover EWC last year if he is this year.
Now, if you remember, I pulled up the VODs for it. Last year, I didn't do EWC because it was a week where I was extremely burnt out. I had fucking bad migraines the whole time. I had a shitty setup, and I was spending the week with my dad. That was the main reasons why I didn't do it. I was at the Formula 1 race with my dad, my head was cooked, and I even spoke about the tournament straight after. The whole Reddit was covered in EWC posts that we went over for multiple days about what was happening, how it was going, people saying that they were enjoying it, people saying they were missing me, whatever it may be. That's the reason. That's the main reasons I didn't do it. What I will say though is obviously my stance has changed, mainly because back then I was just... Yeah, it was the format that I was flaming a lot. Back then, I was just a streamer. Now, I'm a streamer and a team owner. And I have to think about the future of esports, given that every esports and almost everyone in their scenes are participating at the event, whatever it may be, and Riot's partnered, all that stuff. There's also the Olympics coming next year. I thought that it was kind of the time to cover the event.
He also covers his compensation for the event, obviously not saying how much, but more giving his personal reasoning.
Am I getting the bag? Yes, I'm getting paid for this event. I don't know, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I'm doing it for whatever it is. Yes, I'm getting paid to the event. I'm sure you'll see like a lot of creators are getting paid to the event, whatever it may be. You'll see their tweets or their streams or whatever it is. More reasons why I'm doing the event. Well, it's become a big part of the esports international calendar. If you follow the streams, you'll know that I pour my life into League. I sit here and I spend 16 hours a day non-stop watching games. It's another international event. And if you want to know what my deal is for the event, all I will be doing is covering the event on stream and making content out of the games. That's it. The same as any other League event that I will be participating in. It's the same. People are saying to me a lot like, Caedrel, you're such a big streamer. You earn loads of money. Why are you taking the bag? My answer to that, and I don't think there's an easy answer to it, I would say I worked my fucking ass off for many years, from being completely failed to now like being able to be in a position where I can talk to the best players in the world and stream the best games. I don't know what my future looks like as a career after League ends or streaming disappears. I have no idea. I don't have anything to go off. Maybe I become a team owner, which would be great, and like can transition into like team side. So people who say you already have enough money or whatever it is, or your stream's already successful or it is, I feel like I have earned the position to like have my own opinion as to whether I would want to take a bag or not, right? Or get paid to do something.
Next, he speaks on, despite being a larger creator with a platform, why politics has no place in his community.
The reason I never talk about politics on stream is because I never went to university, I dropped out of school, and half of my life has been, my adult life, has been being a pro player or being a streamer. Streaming is literally just, for me and for you, a place of entertainment and fucking escapism. I don't use my platform for politics. A lot of people can criticize me for not having a stance, but obviously this is intentional because all I'm doing is trying to entertain, cover games, and do what I've been doing my whole adult life, which is watching League, playing League, and investing my life into League. And that's why you'll see that I don't use my platform for anything related to anything else that's not League. I don't even tweet about my personal life or what I'm doing in my life. My whole Twitter is just League of Legends. Every Instagram post I make is League of Legends related or me at an event. It's very rare that you'll see like an Instagram post where I'm doing something different. I'm not here to like be strange about the whole situation, but I just want to say that the reason that politics is never talked about on stream is because that's basically it. That's all I want to do, and that's probably all you want to hear from me. I don't think you want to hear me talking about it, and I don't want to talk about it because all I want to do is do the League stuff and the game stuff and whatever it is.
Also, this doesn't need a clip, but he says he will be covering the event from home, not in Saudi Arabia itself. Then he talks about the rough Twitter reception.
I don't mind people having opinions or anything, but like, for example, this tweet I have specifically brought up was basically saying something along the lines of, he gets to do what he loves and he gets paid. Buddy, have I got a movie for you? So I'm waking up to tweets where I'm being compared to people who created nuclear bombs. And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is going on in my life? All I'm doing is being honest, and I'm taking a bag. Changing my stance now that my position's changed from just being a streamer to like a team owner.
So that was basically all of Caedrel's response, which I feel like cleared up a lot of the speculation. But anyway, back to the actual video. But one such streamer that was praised for turning down his invitation to EWC, however, was Dom. In his tweet only a few days ago, he says, "I will not be co-streaming EWC. I was offered an ungodly amount of money, more than 3 times what I make in a month on stream, for 5 days, but I didn't feel good about taking the offer. I understand that I'm in a financially privileged position and not everyone can decline the ridiculous offers going around, but for me, I'd rather not cover the event and then restart the streams when LPL comes back in 6 days. See you all on the 19th. To turn down 3 months salary for 5 days work, regardless of context, is a respectable decision and has been heavily praised across the community. If you'd like to learn more about just how deep this controversy goes, I've included a video from Sideshow in the description that's almost an hour long and is a lot deeper than what I've discussed here. Form your own opinions at your discretion. The event begins in less than a day. I will continue to cover this topic as it develops, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything further. Thank you for watching.